In addition to general trends that real estate developers look for, there can be so many other post-production aspects that are quite endemic and unique to low-cost housing. The developers have to also check the feasibility of mixing housing projects meant for the super rich, the middle class and the poor, just as Mr. Hegde of Chartered Housing explained.
2. If it comes to that, it is possible that we build tenements, but there should be some freedom in terms of design, in terms of location. Okay, 5 builders together, we are developing 10 acres together in a particular zone A. If all of us put together in a separate location, if I can provide, why don't you make provision for that? 5 of us together within a 2 kilometers range, we will provide so many tenements.
Okay.
Or consider servants' rooms as part of EWS or LIG.
Okay.
3. Suppose there are 300 units in a particular project.
Okay.
You need how many people for that? How many tenements has to be provided? Whether all the people staying in that particular LIG tenement, are they going to work for you?
Okay.
The situation may come after 10 years that you have provided for the tenements and none of those people are working for you. What, have you solved the problem?
Okay.
No, we have not solved the problem. That is why this requires a basic study. What is the problem, how the solutions has to be provided, and whether it's a uniform solution across the country.
A national solution has to be found, as Mr. Hegde suggests. But such developments where houses for EWS exist, cheek by jowl, is not only a cultural issue, but a marketing nightmare for the developer. There have been projects in places like Mumbai where developers have been able to sell luxury apartments at higher floors for a very high premium, but the flats facing the LIG homes in the same compound have remained vacant for months. We asked Prashant Khandelwal of Mayuresh Group how he meets this situation. Can the twain ever meet? He averred yes.
I will cite an example. Let's say if you live in a very clean society, you can never go and live in a dirty society again in a lifetime. This is the basic parameter of searching your house. Right now, people, their way of living, the living standard in Boise is different, and the living standard what we are promising to them. So to change that habit, to make it a habit that you live in a clean society, to segregate your waste daily, to have a water, recycling water, we don't have any water issues. All these things you need to do. You should make people habitual. You should make residents habitual that they can't live without it. Once that is done, you are done. Your job is done. So what we are planning is, we are planning to maintain the society for 5 years, and we have put it in the agreement also that 5 years we are going to maintain. And post 5 years, once everything will be in place, we'll leave and we'll make the society and federation in place. And we are going to involve those guys from the beginning. It will not happen that we're taking care of everything on our own, but we'll start involving from day 0 itself. Once they'll come over there, we'll start involving them, and we're going to do lots of community engagement, and we're going to create a workshop. So we'll be giving a workshop to these guys. We are preparing a home manual. Have you seen any manual with any kind of product? All the electronics and everything have a manual how to use it. Have you received any manual with how to use our home? Do you know what kind of pipelines are in the roads? Do you know when there is a problem, which electrical pipelines you have to take care of? Absolutely. So we are creating a home manual for our home buyers, that this is a home manual, you have to follow these rules and principles, and we are there to make sure that you will follow for next 5 years. And I hope 5 years would be a good enough time period to...
But is it also that it would only relate to knowledge? What about the cost involved? Will they really be able to take such carry on with this practice after you are out of the picture?
Yeah. So what I'd say is sustainability is more of high capital cost and low operation cost. If your electricity bills comes lesser than your co-worker who lives in another society, then you will see there's a difference in that.
My drift of the argument was that, in terms of luxury homeowners, the expenditure on all these would be much less. But when it comes to low-cost housing, where the people who actually own these houses have low income, will they really be able to spend that kind of money over all these issues like solid waste, liquid waste, and that?
Okay, so I'll say, can we differentiate between a luxury project and a low-cost housing? The only differentiation, the civil cost is going to be the same. Okay, it is all about the amenities, what kind of colors you are going to put, what kind of tiles you are going to put, what kind of windows and what kind of other accessories you are going to put. That is one of the things. That the size of the flat is another issue. So these are the major things which are key parameters which define luxury project and which define the affordable housing.
Actually,
the basic necessity of water, waste, electricity is same for everyone. If you have water in your ground, you are going to use it. If I am putting a system where you are using only half of the water which is required by general people and you are saving water, and I am putting whatever water you are saved back into your ground, the ground where you are staying, and you have borewells, you have water treatment plant, everything is in place. So you have to pay the cost of water, and over the period of time, the cost of natural resources will be very high. Let's say you take a cost of water, the cost of electricity, everything is subsidized. But few years down the line, all these costs will increase. And once this cost will increase, here the cost is going to be constant because you are using the natural resources which you have conserved from last 5 years.
The natural corollary to that would be to ask you about the rate of return that low-cost housing developers have, in the sense that most of them are involved in high-volume, low-margin projects. Does that actually tell on your project, the sustainable element?
If you talk about high volume, low margin, I'll say this is a comparative statement. If you compare a premium project and if you compare a low cost housing project, the margin plays into the picture. The margin you can make in a premium cost project and the margin you make in a low cost that is the difference between these two. But I will say you need to if you're going to sell a high volume, if you're playing into a market where the parameters are high volume and low cost, low margins, you need to sell a lot of homes very quickly. And while doing that, people tend to sell these homes to the investor, the large chunks, because the ticket value is so small. Let's say if I take my example, the project in Boisar, it is 100 kilometers from Bombay, and people in Bombay for a ticket price of 20 to 30 lakhs is nothing. They'll put their money over here and they'll forget about it for 5 years. But if I go into the picture of high volume, I need to sell more flats to the investor. And if I sell more flats to the investor, the sustainability goes out of the picture. What happens is, if more than 20% of my project is being sold to the investors, these flats are going to be vacant. And if these flats are going to be vacant, there will be no community engagement which is going to happen. There will be no wastewater which will be generated, which can be used for recycling and for landscaping. And hence, my measures will of no use. They are laying there. It will not be used at all. Our target is to sell to the real buyers wherever we are going to develop. We are developing over here. Right now we are selling around 95% of our project has been sold to the real buyers who are going to occupy the place. And they are the real people who will get benefit from the sustainability. And once it will happen, more people will move into our project. They prefer our project as compared to the other project.
Trends in low-cost housing also involve the latest technology that can be employed according to customer taste. Residential developers in South tell interesting stories about the changing customer trends. For instance, in Chennai, home buyers across all classes prefer the old brick-and-mortar structures. But home buyers in Bangalore, which has a more cosmopolitan character, accept new construction materials without much ado. The reason for this could be that the new generation home buyers, mostly employed in IT industry, have a much wider exposure to new ways of living abroad than people in other conservative cities in the south. Mr. Khandelwal puts this into perspective when he explains the green concept in his EWS homes in Boisar.
So we have used these aerated autoclave concrete blocks, which are called AAC blocks. So the benefits of these blocks are they provide you insulation. Our homes will be cooler inside. They provide they are lightweight blocks, so you have the structure will be less heavy, and these blocks they do not absorb moisture more than 20%. And this is one of the elements which is costing us more as compared to the normal brickwork, normal clay bricks we use generally. And we have taken this decision, aware decision, to use these blocks in spite they are higher on the construction cost, because over the period of time when there are problems of leakages and all in general buildings, these blocks will prevent those leakages, because the capillary action of which happens in bricks absorb water very fast, and there's a very fast capillary action which happens over there. In these blocks they absorb very less water, and hence there will be very less leakages as compared to the normal brickwork. So, and the other benefits are always there, the insulation and everything, which are the main factors. So you need to improve on these factors, and then only you can evolve. So with time you need to use new technologies which can be adaptable in the project.
The home buyers belonging to the economically weaker section have typical problems when it comes to buying homes, or are aspiring to shift from slums to legal homes.
So what we do, we take care, we sell to the customer on a personal basis. We know about the personal history, the professional history of the customer and all. And we make sure that we have tied with the home loan companies. So we make sure we get a sanction letter from the...
Two things here, Prashant. One thing is that when it comes to real low-cost housing projects, these projects are dependent on people who don't have access to bank loans. So that's one thing. Second thing is that when it comes to their jobs or whatever professions they are involved in, they could be even laundry guy people, or they could be involved in rickshaw driving, or it could be bhajiwalas, vegetable vendors, all kinds of people. Their jobs are quite uncertain, and their incomes are equally uncertain. That's where the problem starts. How do you meet that kind of exigency?
So, first question is they are not able to get home loans from banks and all. So these days the microfinance industry, the financial institutions which are ready to pay to these guys.
The microfinancing agencies charge a bomb for...
they charge a bomb, but you can't do anything. Either we have a ready home, you save something, save something upfront, and that is not possible for these guys. They can pay over the period of time, but they do not have enough savings to buy a home at one shot. So that is the problem with these guys. And so these financial institutions are really helping them out to buy the house and own a house, I will say. And they have to pay a premium for that, but you can't help it. Because banks cannot take risk. They have a limited appetite for taking risk, so they will not give loans to these guys. Secondly, from our end, let's say if these guys are not ready to take the loans and all, so we make sure that the number of flats in one building is the limited exposure in one building. It should not happen. Let's say you have sold 50% of the houses to such kind of people in one building, and the construction of the building in these blocks. What we can do, we can delay our profits, but we cannot build from our pocket. So we make sure that the number of people per building the exposure should be limited. It should not be, let's say 1 or 2 flats out of 12 flats we can sold out to these guys, and we can wait for the payment. Maybe we can charge a penalty to them. But we make sure that it should not happen the construction of the project halts because of these guys.